Good morning, everybody. Shefa Brucha V'Atzlucha. We're starting the book of Bamidbar. And one of the interesting things in Bamidbar is maybe to teach us a big lesson, especially today when we see what's going on happening all around us. Of course, we're also mentioning the Matan Torah. Vaydaber Hashem Moshe Midbar Sinai Bo'el Moed. Says that the Torah was given to us in the desert, in fire and water, and there are a lot of explanation about it. And we are approaching Matan Torah, receiving the Torah Be'ezrat Hashem on Chag HaShavuot next week. So when we talk about the desert and the fire and the water, just a small example in order to put it in our mind. What is the desert? The desert is some place there is nothing there. From one side, nothing there. From the other side, what is the most desired thing in the desert for a human being that goes in the desert? Water. And imagine to yourself that you're going on in the desert, let's say going on the Arava road to Eilat, and you stop on the way and you go into the desert right. Yes, right, not left. Left is Jordan. You go right, go for 10 minutes, and you find yourself, wow, everything, the desert, sand, and the big mountains. And what do you feel? It's like this, like nothing. And this is one of the ideas of getting the Torah in the right way, from humbleness, to understand, who am I? And that's why the Torah was given to us by Moshe Rabbeinu, was the most humble guy in the world, and on the lowest mountain in the desert, the Mount of Sinai, in order to us to understand, from one side, the greatness of God. You see the desert, you feel, you're like this, you're like, and how small we are. And then, what do you want in the desert? You want water. Water is Torah. This is Matan Torah. This is receiving the Torah. That's the best way to look at it. That's why the Torah was given to us in the desert, and with water and as fire. Fire is the desire. You can unfortunately use all those things for the bad side. You can desire all the bad things of life, all the physical, materialistic side. But the idea is that the fire has to burn in you like you are thirsty for water, which is the Torah in the desert. When you combine all those things, that's the way to receive the Torah. But there is one more important point. Together. We have to get to the idea that we build ourselves, each one as an individual, but in order to help the others, to help Am Yisrael. And this is why when we stand there, Be'ezrat Hashem, it's written Vayichan Sham in singular and not in plural. What Vayichan is Vayachanu. There were a lot of people. Vayichan ke'ish echad belev echad, like one with one heart. This is the idea. It is not easy to fulfill, but this is the task, and this is what we have to work on. And this is what the Torah is telling us in our parsha, when it's telling us, Ish al diglo. How many flags did we have? So, 4, 12, but the Torah tells, Ish al diglo. Each one of us had his own flag. And this is exactly what's happening. Each one of us has got its own ideas, its own potential, his own talent, and yes, he has to stay with his flag. The flag is something that you stand around it, that is the symbol of what you do. In Hebrew, dagel, didgol, it's ish dagul, is a great guy. Dagul mirvava. God is better than, is higher than everything, and so on and on. But we all know the importance of a flag. We see in America, if somebody burns the flag, the American flag, he can go into jail. Here, unfortunately, it doesn't happen, but maybe it should. The flag is something that symbolizes who you are, what you stand for. And in order to understand it, I always tell this story when we went the first time to Turkey, got to Istanbul, and we ordered somebody to pick us up from the airport to the hotel. And when we come out and to the airport and we look around and we see all those signs, the flying carpet, Yoni Tours, Tour Plus, and with big signs, or call it flags. And because the guide was holding a flag that is symbolized his group, and all the group went around him because, this is our group. And then there were smaller signs of, like, for us, for family, Mishpachat Buzaglo, Mishpachat Cohen, family Buzaglo. And we were looking for family hamburger, Mishpachat hamburger. No sign. The feeling was, I'm alone. What am I going to do? What are we going to do? First time in a, let's say, a strange country. At that time were a lot of stories. And what are you going to do? And you see all the other people so happy, they're around their flag. And then, Baruch Hashem, it all ended very well for us. But the idea is to see and understand what's the meaning, Ish al Diglo, each one with us with his flag. It's the feeling that you belong to something, and the flag symbolizes what you belong to. That's why it's so important. And thinking about the importance of this, and the Torah tells us each one of us got his own flag. It's not only the one flag around Ol Moed, Misaviv Ol Moed, you stand around the tent of the tent which the Torah is there, Kodesh HaKodashim, because the idea is each one of us, if it's with his own agenda, with his own ideas, with his own talents and abilities, but they're all around the Torah and they're all for all. And this is the idea. That's what we have to get to. And sometimes it's very hard to get to this. How can I love somebody like I love myself? How can this guy doesn't think like me? And when he doesn't think like me, unfortunately, sometimes I even not only don't love him, I can get to hate him. And for this, the temple was destroyed. Sinat Chinam. He is your brother. Okay, so he doesn't think like you. So what? You don't have to agree with him, by the way. You will hold your own opinion, especially when we're talking about this big fight that we go against religion going on. We must not give up, of course not. But we must also not forget that they are our brothers and sisters. They are part of us. If a part of your body hurts, I always say that I ask people, what is this? And I've got all those answers. One, finger, you want to say something, but I then explain, this is me. This finger is a part of me. And this the finger has got a wound or something, I'm going to cut it? I'm going to cure it. And if you understand that each one of us is a part of this beautiful thing that is called Am Yisrael, and this is the idea of Sfirat HaOmer, that's what we're doing, counting the Omer. What's counting the Omer? Counting the Omer is building yourself as a part of Am Yisrael, not giving up what you've got, not giving up your talent. Humbleness doesn't mean I am nothing. No! Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest guy of all, from one side, but the other side he was the most humble guy. And this is what we have to keep in mind. It's not using your talent. On the contrary, you have to use your talent for the best, for whatever you can, and you have to build your talent, but not for yourself, but for everybody else. And this reminded me this beautiful episode that I think I told you to maybe a few times already. One of the, I think it was for Shavuos. I needed a few things to buy in the supermarket, and I went to buy it, a few things, and then I'm looking. Whoa, the place was full, and all the cash registers were full, with all the coupons were full, and then I saw this one of the cash registers was quite empty. So I went there. But after a few minutes, I understood I did a big mistake. All those big lines were getting shorter and shorter, but I'm standing there. There are two women in front of me, one woman by herself, and another woman with her daughter. And they have those full agalot and supermarket wagon. And the girl, this is the kupait, the cash register. She is at the, I think, first day or the second day. It was going so slow. I couldn't believe it. Not only this, they had so much things in the agala, so they were taking it. There was no space on the other side, so they had to stop every few minutes. And she had to go to the other side, the lady, and put it in bags and pack it and put it in another wagon. And it was taking so much time. Then I saw something unbelievable. Their mother said, that was in front of me before this lady, told something to her daughter, and her daughter went to the other side, and she also went to the lady, and they were helping. She was helping her taking it out from the wagon, from the agala, put it on the cash, on the cash register. She was doing the calculation and moving it to the other side, and the daughter was picking it in the other side. So it was going, wow, wow. I says, wow, look, this beautiful V'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. This is V'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. This is love your fellow like you love yourself. And then I thought, 1 minute. Who is she really helping? Is she helping to this lady? Yes. But she's also helping herself. More even than to the other lady. Because if she would not help to this lady, she will stay there for another 2 hours. And now she's going to finish it so quickly. So the benefit is that she's really helping herself. And I thought to myself, 1 minute. This is exactly the idea. How can I get it into my mind that I have to help my friends? That it is the best thing to do. When I understand that everything I do for my friend, I'm doing for myself, then I would be, let's say, motivated to do it. Why? Because I'm not helping him, I'm helping myself. Of course you're also helping him, but think about it. This is the real thing. Yes, you're not supposed to help others because you have a benefit out of it, because you get rewarded for it. No, that's not the idea. Don't be like slaves that waiting for reward from God. No, you have to do these things, the mitzvahs, not for the reward. And also here, after you have to love your fellow man the same as you love yourself, not because you're getting something out of it. But if we understand and realize that you're getting out of it anyway, because if he is your brother, and if he is a part of your body, if he is a part of you, when you help him, you're really helping yourself. And how do you get it into your mind? Is think about this supermarket wagon that was there and teaching you that this lady with her daughter were helping the other lady, and they were really helping themselves, and also, by the way, helping me, because everything went through. So in helping the other, you're helping yourself and to everybody else. This is a beautiful thought. And when you think like this, even you can say, mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma, even if you say, I'm doing it for the benefit I've got from it, you're still doing it. And while you're doing it, you will, after, when you do things once, twice, and eventually you get also to this idea that you're loving this person, you're helping him. This is also an interesting point that you have to understand. In order to love your fellow man, you have to give. You have to give him something. And what does it mean? When you give, at the end of the day, you feel that the one you're giving to, you love him. It's like when you have a cat in the street. It doesn't mean anything to you. But when you raise the cat, how do you feel now? Is this famous story I used to tell you of the Rab Dessler, that they had somebody in congregation after the Second World War, and he saw something very strange. He saw the kid, there was a couple, and the kid was much closer to the father than to the mother, and he couldn't understand it. But then when he heard the story, he understood it very well. Before the war, they were living in one, I think in Germany also somewhere, and the Nazis went up, and it was getting very dangerous for them, and they had a small baby. And they decided that he couldn't stay, but the mother, she looked like a German girl. She was blonde with blue eyes, and she could stay there with they had good friends, neighbors. So she stayed there as their daughter or their sister. I don't remember exactly what it was. And he and the baby that was circumcised, I had the Brit, and he also had the Brit, and they looked Jewish or whatever, and they had to run away. So they ran away. And after a lot of problems, they got to England. And after the war, they wanted to reunion. So the father went back, and he found his wife, Baruch Hashem. She went through all those years of the Holocaust, of the Second World War, and she survived at this home that it was. But the interesting point was that when she came back home, the baby, the little boy, he was much closer to the father than to the mother. And also the mother, she didn't have the same feeling she had before. So Rav Dessler was thinking to himself, look at it. This is exactly the point. Because she was not dealing with the baby. She was not treating him, she was not helping him. And the father, he did the job. He was changing his diapers, he was feeding him. So he got much closer to the boy than the mother. And through those few years that they were not together, the distance grew, and for the father, he get closer and closer to the baby, to the young boy, so to the child. So the child was more attached to the father than to the mother. And this is a big lesson in life. To understand and live. Giving is also a way to increase the love. Looking at others and look for the good point, for the good things that they have. Helping each other is really helping yourself. As I'm always saying, this supermarket wagon is also in my mind, this Agalat supermarket. And this also reminds me of a story with the Rav Ben Zion Yadler. He was a Maggid in Yerushalayim. He was an unbelievable guy, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. And once they had this group of people that everybody put money into it. So when they need help, like to marry the children or buying a house or whatever, so this group is they will have money in the bank, and they will give us, when somebody needs, they will loan the money, and when he get the money, he will give it back to the fund, and this way this fund is going to help everybody that is a part that put money in. So he went to get a blessing for this fund. It's a great idea, in order to help each other. So everybody puts a small amount of money in every year or whatever, and then when he needs money, he can take from this fund the money. And he went to get a blessing from the Rebbe Brisk, the Rav Diskin, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. And when he told him exactly what they're doing, the Rav Diskin was what? He didn't exactly answer. Why don't you give me a blessing? It's an unbelievable thing. He says, "It's v'ahavta l'recha kamocha." He says, so the Rav Diskin says, this is not v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. This is not loving your fellow man. It's loving yourself. Because I want to ask you a question. If somebody out of this group that didn't put money in is going to come and ask you for money to help, would you give him? He says, and he's not a guy to. That's exactly the point. This is not v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha is to give everybody, not to have a group and put money in, and only the members of this group are going to benefit out of it. This is not v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, and how true it is. So, if we want to understand and realize what it's all about, first of all, we are not helping only those we know or only the family. We're helping all those who need our help. And look at it at the way what you look at the supermarket wagon, this Agalat supermarket, the way that you really, anyway, helping yourself. When you help your fellow man, you're helping yourself. And you have to understand, yes, each one of us got his own flag. But we have to use this flag, this ability that each one of us got. Develop it and use it for everybody. This is the way to get to Matan Torah. Be'ezrat Hashem, bekarov b'yameinu. Amen.